Hi everybody, I'm Joni Young and today I'm going to be showing you step by step how to paint another fantasy landscape, a floating world up in the sky. And I have got an 18 by 24 canvas and today I used gold. Kind of looks like yellow ochre, but it's metallic gold and it's very shimmery. And so I just primed over and I completely dried it off, and we're going to get started on the background right away. I'll list all the colors and brushes I'm using in the description below. So I'm going to take a large blending brush, this is just a 2-inch, and I'm going to go right into my light blue violet and a little bit of white. So I want to create some sweeping clouds up in the sky here. So I'm going to come in, and you can see how pretty this looks against that soft gold paint. The colors are very nice together. So I'm going to come in from the top like this and kind of draw in from both sides into the center here where we're going to have our focal point. It just helps your eyes focus more on what's going on in the center. So I think I'm going to pull in a little bit more white on this side as well, just to brighten this up a little bit. So I'm doing soft little scoops like this, like half circles, and then scumbling lightly. So a little bit more of that blue, and I'm going to come from the top here I want to take a little bit of white and a little bit of neon red, and I'm going to start pulling this in. So we're going to softly blend this in here with some of that blue, creating another tone. And then I'm going to take my blue and red, there's a little bit of white on there, and make a smoky, like almost like lilac color. And I'm going to come in right here, pull that smoky color in. More little circles, more blue. So it's just, you can have fun with your skies and experiment and just layer and layer. Acrylic paint is so forgiving. I'm going to take more of my neon red and white, and I'm going to come right from here, and look at that. We're going to start to create some excitement right in this area. I'm going to go into my yellow and white now. Pick up a little bit more white. Just want to tone this yellow a little bit. And I can do that with adding more white or a little bit more pink. And I'm going to do a little bit of both here. I'm going to turn my brush this way, do little puffy circles and clouds. Then come in with more of that blue. Just scumble along with the bottom of your brush like this, pulling and wiggling. Quick little brush strokes like this, creating lots of little half circles. A little bit more red right in here, right into that yellow. I'm going to wash the excess paint out of my brush, and I'm going to take my large 4-inch brush and just get a little bit of water on it. Dry the excess off, and then what I'm going to do is take a little bit of white on my brush like this, and I'm going to start pulling very lightly to create some sun rays. Now you can use a smaller brush if you want. So just pull, flick up like that, lots of lines. I'm using this large brush because my canvas is so big and I can cover the area quicker. So I'm going to just switch over to another brush now and do a few more sun rays that are going to stand out a bit more. So I'm going to take a little bit of this peach color, yellow, and the red and the white. And I'm going to start right here in the center. Get a little bit more paint. You might need to go for a little bit of water each time you load your brush. The water is going to help your paint flow. So it's not that sometimes you guys think that your paint is drying quickly, and sometimes it's not that it's drying quickly, it's just really thick and it needs help to be more blendable, if that makes sense. So what I like to use is just water. There's many options out there though for mediums, slow dry mediums that you can add. So as they get up higher like that towards the edges of the canvas, I'm going to make them a little bit thicker, because that's usually how they look. They're a bit thinner here and then they get wider as they fan out. And I'll add some in here too, so we can see all those delicate colors that we previously added underneath. So we're just enhancing, not trying to cover anything up. I want to make really soft golden color here. So I'm pushing a bit of that yellow and white together. I like to use, so see how it kind of glows against that light blue violet? It's a really, really nice color to use with blues and pinks. The titanium white is really bright. So this is just sort of a glow before we add. I'm going to make this one a little bit whiter. Got a nice glow right here before we start adding our little island and our trees. Okay, and then I think I'm going to do a little bit more here, make this one a bit wider. And here, I'm kind of not going to worry about this for now because I'm probably going to paint over a lot of it anyways. So when I'm all finished, then I'll come back and see where I might need to add something else. But I just want to add a little bit more of my light pink that I made with a neon red and white. And my neon red, because I still can't find whole bean, I've got Liquitex Basic Acrylics, and it's really, really nice. I'm going to add a few little extra poofs in here, little poofy clouds, just with my flat brush. Sorry if I forgot to mention it's a number 11. I use this one like almost in every video. So just a few little things like that. Just to add a little bit more excitement down here. And then it looks really pretty to add a little bit of color to your sun rays. Like we have them tinted with a bit of yellow. You can enhance them with a little bit of that pink too, and it looks nice. And begin working on our little island. I'm so excited. I love painting these so much. And I love how excited you guys are about them too. It makes me want to paint them even more. Thanks for all of your feedback and just all the support in general you guys are giving me on Patreon, Facebook, Instagram, and here on YouTube. So I'm going to mix with my Filbert brush. This is my number 9 Filbert brush here. Burnt sienna and a little bit of black. I'm going to make like a really dark brown color that's on the warm side. That's why I like to use this burnt sienna. I love this color. Now this actually would make a nice underpainting. Maybe I'll do that in my next video. Now you can dry your painting off first if you want. And I'm gonna just, all you're doing is just making a little wiggly blob that kind of comes out, and then down a little bit in this area here. I'm gonna bring it up a little bit higher. I'm going to add some more black down in here and create a really nice depth. Now I'm going to add, like the one I did the other day had less green and it had like more waterfalls. This one I want to have more green in it. I want this one to feel very, very earthy, mossy. Okay, so I'm just gonna wash my brush out now. So see what I mean, how this is already looking 3D and popping out, and we've got this nice fuzzy, blurry, soft toned sky. Now I need this to dry a little bit because I've used really thick paint on there, so I don't want to start trying to add some green in there. It's just gonna not be the color I want. It's going to get a bit too muddy. So I'm going to work on the top portion for now and then come back to that. So what I want to do is paint some little trees, and I'm going to use my number 1 liner brush. Get a little bit of water and take some more of that brown that I just made. And I'll start adding a few little trees in here. So I'm just going to make it a little bit thicker down here at the bottom and then wiggle. So for this painting, I want it to feel like it's smaller than the sky. So I don't want it to compete. I don't want to have like a big huge tree on here. So I'm going to just paint accordingly. The size of trees I want are going to be little. I am picking up a little bit of that wet paint underneath, and that's good because I was going to highlight these a little bit. I feel like they'd be getting a little bit of a soft glow from that sun. And I'll add, maybe this one will be just a little bit taller. A little bit, and just wiggle for a few little branches. Don't worry too much about how they look. Don't worry about making anything too perfect. You can just camouflage any little bits that you don't like with some green and all those little leaves. And I'm going to add a few more in here. I think I'm going to paint a cabin on this one today. Yesterday I snuck in a little bit of castle in one of them. But yeah, I think that's what I want to do today, is add a little cabin. I think that would be really sweet. I'm just going to wash that brush off. And I'm going to take a little bit of yellow, burnt sienna, and some white. Maybe a little bit more white. Make that a little bit brighter. I'm just going to come up. And then I can add a few little lighter tones in here too for maybe some rocks. Now for the fun part, we're going to add the little bushes, or the tops to our trees. I've got these two sizes, or I've got this really big one, and I don't want that big one because that'll just take up the whole width of the tree. And this one's almost a little bit too big, so I think I will choose my small one. So I want to take yellow, green, and a little bit of black, and I want it to have a warm tone to it, so I'm putting it in with a little bit of this brown. I'm going to take a little bit more yellow. Oh, I hope you guys can see all this. Just a little bit more black. I want a nice dark underpainting for this, for the shadow parts, and then, but not too dark. I want it to be lighter than this, so we'll see. Let's see how we do here. So a little tap here, we'll do a little blob like that. Another one here, and that's a pretty good color. I think I like that. Another one right here, a little bit more. My paint underneath is still wet, so I'm picking up a little bit of that, and that's kind of helping to keep it a little bit lighter and not look so black. I'm going to add some in here. Now I'm probably going to pick up a bit of this brown. Yep. Still too much wet paint down there. I'm just going to wipe the excess bit of brown that I picked up and wipe that off. And how are you doing over there, Till? Are you cozy in your bed? As you can see, Tilly's been joining me the last few days. She's very comfortable over there in her little bed and her little blanket that she likes. So I just mixed up some more paint, trying to keep this little poofy shape on the bottom. So to do that, when you're mixing up your paint, you kind of lose that shape. So what you want to do is just kind of tap like this. And I'll add a little bit more in here. Again, just little blobs. And then I'm going to pick up some yellow with this white that we've got over here. I'm not washing my brush out. I want that kind of dirty brown, black, green color in there still. And I will start tapping on top of that. So you want to tap on top, leave a little indication of shadow showing through there. So there's a cute little tree. A little bit more of your white and your yellow. So I'm just going to try again here. Let's sneak in some more of this greeny yellow. I'm going to go into my green and my yellow. I'm going to tap right in here. And then I'm going to pull some more in here. And create some warmth. A little landing here, a little flat grassy area to add our, maybe we'll have our little cabin or cottage in there. I'm gonna pick up some more yellow. I'm gonna add some more bushes back here, and I'm just using straight yellow this time. I'm gonna pick up just a little bit of black, because I really want the sun rays to stand out, so we need a little bit more shadow. I'm just going to tap lightly down here. Just little bits like that. I'm going to go back to my liner brush and get a little bit more of my black and brown on here. And add a few little shadows and a few more branches. Maybe we've got a few levels in here. That would be kind of cool. So we can do that. Pick up a bit of yellow. And now I'm going to take my larger, so it's not my biggest, that one's my biggest. You can see the difference in size here. Little mop brush, I'm going to take some green and a little bit of yellow. And it's lost its round shape and it's got a little bit squished, but that's going to help me get in these areas and create the right size little bush. So I'm just going to start tapping like this and coming down here on different levels. Adding some more grassy areas in here. I think what I'm going to do is add some little ferns, because you guys know I love ferns. And They already kind of look like ferns just by using this brush, but I'll probably use another brush and do a little bit more detailed ones. When you have the right brush and technique, they can be really, really fun to paint. And so for my little ferns, I'm going to use my tiny, and it's just a 0 size. I'm going to use a little bit of turquoise. I like turquoise and yellow together for a nice green. And we have different greens going on in this painting, and they're not all the same, right? So take a little bit of each of those. Push it on the tip of your brush like that. And, oh, let's try right here. So what I'm going to do is tap, tap, tap. Just little taps. Now, depending on how wet your paint is underneath, it might be easy for you or it might be a bit difficult. Now, if you're having a hard time, definitely dry your painting off first. Just have a little hair on my brush. So I'm just going to show you another one here. We'll put this one here. And you can change the direction just by turning your brush. So just a few little ones like that. So what I'm going to do is just add a whole bunch. When I pick up brown from underneath that's still wet, I just wipe the excess paint off on my towel, and then I go back for more paint and do it again. A little bit more of a turquoisey yellow up in here. And my paint is just too wet underneath, so I'm going to have to wait and come back to that. Now, before I do my little cabin, I think I want to have a few more little trees back here. So back with my liner brush, I think I'm going to pull one right in here. This one's going to kind of curve over. Maybe I could have another one from back here and sort of pulling in there, creating another little, just can't stay away from my little oval worlds. They always seem to kind of just manifest their way into my paintings. And I think that looks pretty cool. I'm going to leave that. I like it. Add a few little twisty vines down here. And I'm just taking green, turquoise, and yellow. there. See, I've got so much paint under here that I can use it. Need a bit of water though. Gotta help that paint out of the brush. So maybe I'll change up the types of trees and I'll use my little fan brush here. This is a number 2. And I'll take my green and yellow-black mixture, wiggle and slide, and then push. So I'll add one of those right here. Maybe it's a little weeping willow. So you might be able to notice I'm using just the corner at times. I'm gonna get a bit of water on my brush and loosen this paint up. Pick up a bit of yellow. Okay, I think I'm ready, and I'm going to add my little cottage right in the center there. I'm thinking about adding a little bit of water somewhere too. I might do that. So I'm just going to use, let me see if I have a little bit smaller. So this is the smallest one I can find right now. It's number 6, but I should be using one that's half this width for the size of little house that I'm painting. It would make it a lot easier. So I would recommend getting a smaller one. I'm going to use this same dark color. It's mostly black based. I'm going to add it right here. So I'm just going to do a little square. I need a little bit more water. Or sorry, a little rectangle. So just a rectangle, guys. Like that. Now I'm going to take a bit of black on the tip of my brush. I'm going to do a line down here and pull down, a slant. So we have the roof, and then I'm going to do a little line. So we're making a triangle, and then a little tap down here, little line. So it's just a simple little cottage, nothing too fancy. And then I'm going to take a little bit of my blue violet, and I'm going to add a dab there and a dab there for some windows. Pull, drag on a slant. A little bit like that. And then we'll pull across and carefully get up there with the corner of our brush. Just going to go back to a little bit of black on the very tip of my brush and add this roof line in again. going to come down a little bit slightly lower. And this one too. We could add a little chimney too. Let's just add a little line right there for a chimney. Now I think we need to add some light in this cottage. I'm going to go to my little liner brush. It's clean. I'm going to take my peachy yellow mixture. So just a soft, warm peach color. And because my paint is wet and it's just very small, I'm just going to dab 3 little windows, one up here and one here. Then we need to do a little bit of smoke coming out of our chimney. So I'm just going to use like a light grayish color. So a bit of black and a bit of my blue, a little bit of white, and all I'm going to do is barely touch the canvas, wiggle, 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 and you just have a little indication there. That's all you need. You need a little door. I'm just going to use that same color. That didn't work out very well because the paint's wet underneath, so I'm going to take a bit more of my blue and add a door right here. Maybe there's some little shutters on either side of the windows. There. That stands out a little bit more, right? I'm going to take a bit of black on my brush and I'm going to bring this up slightly higher. I'm going to come underneath the roof line with a little bit more black. We're going to put a few little bushes down in here as well. Now I just noticed that I had my pinky resting there, and I do that quite a bit, but it must be so cool in my studio that it's still wet there, so I'm going to have to fix that. I'm just going to take, with a clean brush of course, some white and yellow and peach. Actually that looks really pretty. Maybe I will do some more highlights in here. Like the prettiest glow to the outside of these trees. Isn't that nice? So I'm really kind of glad that that happened. Isn't that funny how things work out? That was unplanned, and to correct it I ended up discovering that this looks really nice. It had some in here too. I'm going to soften it in a minute with a brush, and I know that it's not going to dry too fast because of the temperature in my studio. Okay, I'm going to just keep going around with this because I really like the way that looks. And I better speed this up a little bit just so that I can be able to blend it. Go over to my little number 11 flat brush. Add a little bit more weight to that. A little bit of my pinky red. And just kind of have a few more clouds in here. So this painting is just about done. Like I said, I want to add some more highlights and foliage in there. I'm still taking my peachy color, yellow, neon red, and a bit of white, and just coming in here with some peaks, little half circles, just to build up the front here a little bit and kind of help create more of an atmosphere, I guess. So this tutorial is, like most of my tutorials, going on Patreon first. Patreons get exclusive early access to my videos, so if you want, go ahead and check out my Patreon page. A lot of you guys are asking how you can say thank you for my tutorials, because you know, when you go to sign up for art lessons and painting classes, it costs, all that costs money, right? And I'm giving you guys so much, almost 20 years of painting techniques, tips, tricks, painting hacks, all my secrets, and a lot of you guys want to say thanks, and you know, I really appreciate that. That's really kind of you guys. You don't have to do that. If you want to though, Patreon is a platform where you can do that. You can just make a very small donation if you want to, but I definitely don't expect it. So back to this, just a little bit more in here. And then maybe just a little bit of blue. Just gonna add a little bit of light in there. So my light peachy color. Just gonna sneak some in here just to make this have a nice glow, brighter glow around it. I'm just going to tap in the color and then I'll soften it. While I've got that peachy color on my brush, maybe I'll just add just a little something in here. A little bit lighter right there and show up a bit more. Use one of my soft brushes here. It's dry. You definitely don't want it to be wet, otherwise you're just going to take off that paint, and you don't want to do that. We're trying to put that on there and just soften it. so it's got a nice, really nice soft glow. And I'm going to make sure I brush off the excess paint and then go back, pick up some green and some yellow. Tapping it out. So you tap it flat to get that nice puffy shape back again. And then I'll come right in here. Okay, now we're at that stage where it is working much better. The paint is dry enough. It's not completely dry, it's a little bit tacky, but it's dry enough that this paint will stick to it and we can build up beautiful foreground here. All that green, making it look so lush. Remember, you can have it coming over, spilling over the edge in some spots. I really feel like I want to add just a little bit of water in here, so I'm going to switch over to another brush. Use my little flat brush, number 6. And I need some phthalo blue. And I don't need very much, so I'm just going to take it right from the lid, little cap right there. And I'm going to take a bit of turquoise with that, as well as some white. So I've got phthalo blue, turquoise, and white on my brush. And maybe we'll have a little pond right in here. So I'm going to do this very lightly because the paint underneath is still wet. Take a little bit more, like that. And maybe we'll just do one waterfall. I can't resist. Maybe just one. I've got my light blue violet here. I said one, didn't I? Well, I think I lied. I'm going to have 2, 3, 4. Get a little bit of white on my brush. We'll have like 3 tiers like that. We'll have some little stairs that come down here. See, I said my painting was just about done, but then I just get these kind of ideas, creativity just starts flowing, and I have to go with it. Otherwise it'll bother me and I'll eventually just come back to it. And I didn't want to leave that out. I want to show you guys. Right? I don't want you to miss out on little ideas that come to me like this. Okay, so just a little bit like that. Use a little bit of black. I did say that we were going to have a few little bushes back there, so I'm going to look for a little mop brush, or not a mop brush, a Filbert brush actually. I've got this little one here that I'm going to use, and I'll take a bit of green very carefully. sneak down in here. And we'll come around the little pond or little lake with it. And then I'll take some yellow. Again, very carefully. Just do some little taps in here for some little bushes. And you know, we can add a little bit of yellow inside of here as well. Just want to add a little bit of black in here just for some more shadow. Just a few more little lines in here. Just where the water's coming down. I'm going to grab a little bit more of my turquoise. Hopefully I can add more of this in here now. A little bit like that. Some yellow. Put a yellow right in here for some more highlights. Okay, so I think I'm going to call this one all done. I had so much fun painting this one today. Thanks again for joining me, you guys. And I'll see you next time very soon in another video. Please don't forget to leave a comment below if you found this helpful and inspiring. Give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Bye!